Hello, stellar people, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Trey, and today we're going to talk about something I really enjoy, and that's fan art. I've heard negative things talking about, you shouldn't draw fan art, but I think doing it is a great thing to learn from. Not only one, do you enjoy it, and it's on something that you usually enjoy, but it's a great way to learn how to draw from other people through mimicry, adding your own little twists to it, and all of that. So today we're going to talk about fan art and why I think it's a good thing to do. Now, when I was younger, I used to draw a lot of different things, a lot of animals, but a lot of video game characters and comic books and all of that. Whatever was on Saturday morning cartoons, Thundercats and G.I. Joe and all of that. But I think with Dragon Ball was the start of a change where I started to draw heavily other people's art, trying to do it in a new way or in my style. Or it seems like Dragon Ball was like the thing for me to draw. And I used to draw a lot of young Goku and a lot of Gohan. I don't have a lot of those drawings from back in the day, but I would say Dragon Ball was a very big influence. Shout out to Akira Toriyama, rest in peace. But he was one of the big guys I used to draw a lot. But I used to also draw Hellboy because I was big into comic books and I love the inking style of Mike Mignola. I've got some Bleach. This is from a sketchbook from college at some point. So was big into manga at the time. But one of my biggest was the X-Men. I am a great big uncanny X-Men fan, and Wolverine was that hero of choice that I used to draw a lot. I think this is the first comic book that I ever bought. This one right here, $2.58, because I was walking through a B. Dalton's bookstore with my brother, and I saw this comic cover and was like, oh, I need to get that. And after that, I've been reading X-Men for practically most of my teen years, and then I've restarted as an old head. But man, the X-Men and Wolverine. Another one, this was Jim Lee was coming into his rising to prominence as an X-Men artist. And yeah, it was big. But yeah, I was drawing, this is 2006, 7 in my sketchbook. So it's, away from the 90s, but I'm starting to get pretty good at drawing and drawing Wolverine. I think I need to, do a proper one today, but yeah. I've always had this idea of Wolverine as he goes to Japan a lot, and I wanted to go to Japan at the time. And so I was drawing Wolverine as a samurai a lot. Yeah, and again, trying different heads, some copying, drawing poses and all of that to see what I could do. Wolverine and X-Men were a great influence on my art. For you as an artist, drawing something that you like or that you enjoy keeps you motivated to draw. And that's one of the great benefits. But also One Piece. One Piece was another one where I was drawing heavily. And I started, this is one of the manga that I have on, what is this? Book number 37. Book 37, the Water 7 arc, when it really, to me, started to pick up. And I loved this saga. And it just made me started reading One Piece from this point forward. But also, it made me want to do fan art. And I like the characters, and I like how all the characters are different. So this is just me messing around with, I think I did this 2015, 16, something like that, somewhere around there. But I started off with just, each of the character has a distinctive, like in silhouette, you can tell who's who. And that's what I like about the characters. And also they teach you that in animation, that in a silhouette, if you blacked out everything, that you could still tell what the character is. So using some of that, Luffy and my Zoro, who's my favorite character, Sanji, Nami, Robin, Brook, Usopp, Chopper, Tony Chopper, and Frankie. And at this time, I was like, I just love these characters. They are awesome. Zoro being the best. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, I did these just with a pen, nothing fancy, just trying to get down what they're, given their personality types, how would they stand, right? And I used that to make this. After I drew it, I inked it, and then I did watercolors of each character. And I made this whole lineup thing just for fun, just practice. I like the characters. I wanted to do art of the characters. And so, and I think that's another thing about doing fan art. It can spur you on to keep drawing, to keep trying, to maybe do something you wouldn't normally do and just experiment and play with other people's characters. And once I had all these characters, I did a watercolor of like a day in the life of them being on the Sunny Go or the Merry Go, of them just hanging out and being themselves. We got Sanji, the cook, Nami looking at the, what the weather's like and just enjoying, the sea, and Zoro with his swords, Chopper being Chopper while mixing up some medicine, and Robin reading books, Usopp, well, Luffy is, the captain, but also he's a food hog, and he'll steal other people's food. So I had him steal Usopp's lunch while he's trying to making an attempt at getting Nami's lunch. Frankie the shipwright putting ships in a bottle, as I just made this up as what he would do maybe in his pastime. And then Brooke playing music, which is what he does. And then the whale, which I always thought was a good, cute story for One Piece, on the box that he's sitting on. Well, yeah, it's just a day in the life. But, it's me thinking about Oda's characters of One Piece and what would they do, and then how I can represent that. Adding both what I like and what, the characters are. Again, another benefit of doing fan art. It's play. It's playing with other people's worlds, other people's characters, but through your lens. And I always think that's a good idea. Okay, and lastly, we have Naruto. Naruto, I started reading at, I think, book 10. Yeah, this is the book that I started. Well, me and my friend Chris, we used to go to the Japanese bookstore. He was also a comic book fan. He also mainly liked Green Lantern and Chinese comics because of the action, the martial arts ones. But we were going to Japanese bookstores because we also liked manga. And at the time we were reading Rurouni Kenshin, and that ended. The whole series ended, and we were kind of bummed. But then we saw Naruto, and I didn't know anything about it at the time because the animated show hadn't started. So I just picked it up on a whim. This was the book cover. And then it was that book that I really got into drawing fan art for. So I've drawn Naruto and Sasuke. Sasuke is my favorite. There's something about the art, the villain, villain slash rival, because Vegeta is also my favorite of the Dragon Balls. But yeah, Naruto, Sasuke, and then I drew a lot of Sasuke's, a lot of them. But this is one of my favorite ones where it was just me messing around, and I thought, hey, what if he had wings, and he has one side fully developed wing, another is rotting or like bone wing. This was before he had his cursed form, but I don't know. I like that idea, so I cleaned it up with tight pencils. I think I did this also 2006, 2007. And then I inked it. And I really liked the look of it. But then as I continued on, I wanted to do a painting. And so this is a diptych, because I was at the point where Sasuke leaves the village and he joins the dark side, pretty much joins the evil. And then their rivalry becomes kind of personal, kind of antagonistic. And so I wanted to do a diptych showing the two characters. And this diptych is based off of Tsukioka Yoshitoshi, whose art I really enjoy. This is Japanese woodblock print. Tsukioka Yoshitoshi. And he does some of the best action, dynamic, beautiful woodblock prints that I've ever seen. And so I have this image that I wanted to replicate. But this image is based off of a story called the Nanso Satomi Hakenden, a tale of the 8 loyal dogs of the House of Satomi. And it depicts Inazuka Shino and Inukai Genpachi, who are unaware that they're brothers and are fighting each other on the roof Horyukaku Pavilion of Koga Castle. Now, I don't know anything about that. I just saw the image and thought it was super cool. And so I then used this as the template for this watercolor of Naruto and Sasuke. So that's another benefit of fan art, being a fan of something and then trying to remix that in a way that suits you or that you're interested in. Because I like woodblock prints, I like watercolor and all of that. And I thought this would be a cool image to do. And so I just did it unprompted, and I learned a lot from it, how to do a diptych and, dynamism from using older styles of art and how to remix that into newer forms of art. So there's a lot of learning, a lot of crossover, a lot of ideation and how to make an illustration and all of that. And that is something else you can learn from making fan art. And here are it's 2 pieces. Here's the Sasuke part. I have, sakura flowers. And their third member is Sakura, the kunoichi. But she's not in this, but I wanted to represent her through the sakura flowers, driving between the two. And Sasuke portion and the Naruto portion. And Naruto has he summons toads, but also within him is the 9-tailed demon fox. But also in the background, we have the larger snake and frog fighting in the background, far off in the distance. But I thought this was just a cool image based off of art of the past. So bridging past Japanese art with current Japanese art through my own lens. All right, so let's go over 3 key points to wrap this up. Fan art keeps you motivated to draw, and that's great. It's another form of practice and experimentation, also a good thing. Fan art is something that you love from your perspective. And plus, it's just plain fun. So I hope that you enjoyed this video on my thoughts on fan art. And I will see you in the next video. Keep shining, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.